I, F29, told husband, M39, I am leaving and he's finally acting right. We have been married for 8 years. Which, yes, means I was 20 and he was 29. I actually was 19 when we met. A mutual friend introduced us and lied about the age difference. When we found out there was a gap, it was too late and already in love. I became pregnant 4 months in and we have a 7-year-old who is my delight. The yelling and blaming started just a few weeks into our relationship. I have story after story of him going just feral. Years and years and years of this man going off without rhyme or reason. The most minuscule being I cut a few trees down in Animal Crossing without his permission. The biggest is a missed house mortgage payment. I was blamed and reprimanded for both and everything in between. Anything under the sun has set this man off. He's yelled at every holiday and birthday and trip we have taken. I have been doing research for years now about narcissists and he fits the role very well. Handsome and charismatic up front but a scary, mean man behind closed doors. 2 years ago, September 22, 21. After he yelled at me about not being more enthusiastic about sex, I told him that if the yelling and manipulation doesn't stop, I am leaving. He got better, then didn't, so I told him a second time, this stops or I am leaving. He stopped. For a week. We recently moved across the country. Something we wanted to do and have planned on. Literally the night before we are supposed to leave, he picks a huge fight with me. I told him I wasn't going to move and somehow he convinced me to go. TBH, I like the state we are in now. I am happy for a fresh start. To my not surprise, he didn't stop. Christmas Eve he worked until 4. Got home around 5-ish. My son and I had the house all set up. Steak dinner and cookies baking. The vibe is nice. Husband gets home and we greet him. But he needs to look at the bank account real quick. One thing leads to another and he's yelling and berating me again. And I just snapped. I have been completely broken and checked out emotionally from this marriage. I told him I'm done and moving out. He cried and apologized. I don't believe him anymore. I feel like he's faking it again, so we go back to normal again. This life is easy for him. I do everything: childcare, household, and hold a part-time job. He works full-time and spends about 23 hours a day at the gym. I don't have a gym membership and that I'm bitter about. In my head I'm thinking, I can do all of this myself, and if it's just me and our son, there's no one to yell. All in all, I'm having a hard time trusting my own judgment. It's emotional and mental abuse, neglect and toxic. I need to get out for my sake and mostly for the sake of our son. I hope it's not too late. In my head I'm thinking, I can do all of this myself, and if it's just me and our son, there's no one to yell. What does he bring to the table except stress and anxiety? Sounds like you'd be 100% better off without him. Hey, you're with an abusive man. They will always be so charming when called out or if you threaten to leave. He's not going to change. I left for my boys. I didn't have the right to raise boys who believed it was okay to treat a woman as I was being treated. You're raising a boy to become an abusive man. Not okay. I know the cycle. Yelling, berating and calling you names. You lay down a line in the sand and it gets better until it slowly but surely begins again, and it's worse. My ex didn't come after me physically until after the divorce. I got inside and locked the door and called police. You need to leave. For your son. For yourself. Be careful. Leaving is the most dangerous time. I'm happy to listen if you want to message me. I really didn't expect so much feedback and encouragement. I thought I was posting this into the void and expecting an ambiguous answer. Thank you, folded hands, light skin tone. Thank you for taking the time to encourage and support a complete stranger. I needed these words to keep going. Thank you. You describe a cycle of abuse. Yes. You should leave him. Don't negotiate. In fact, don't even pre-announce it. Make your plans secretly and then go. Consult a divorce lawyer on the sly. He's had chances to reverse course. And he isn't able to maintain the changes he would need to make. Hun, it isn't going to get better. It's not going to stop cause he sees that you'll continue to give him more chances in the future if you stay. I hope you take your into consideration over this and think of the how she's going to grow up. Thinking it's okay for anyone to act like this. Narcissistic personality disorder is one of the few disorders that there is considered no cure or even viable treatment for. In all studies with narcissism there have been few TBT, talk-based therapy, that might be effective for better coping and self-awareness for narcissists. But not decreasing the whole narcissistic part. What it sounds like he is doing, purposefully mind you, is called love bombing, where whenever they get caught or someone is trying to disconnect or unmesh themselves from the narcissist, they will change behavior. Not because they want to get better but because they want the results that it will give them. For as long as they think it takes to make the other person think they've changed or get stuck more and more into the relationship. Happens a lot with parents with personality disorders towards their grown children. To put it simply, you are in an abusive marriage. Would you let your child be treated the way you are being treated? Your sister? Best friend? A stranger? No. Nothing you have written above sounds even remotely healthy. The start of your relationship was due to manipulation and lies, and the continuation of your relationship is due to manipulation and lies. I think you already know it is going to stop shortly after he thinks you have been secured again. It's a repeat pattern of behavior at this point, and he has been shown that if he acts this way for a bit, you will relent and he will get his way. He is doing this now because it works to keep you there, not because he wants to change. Does he do this all in front of your son? Are you comfortable and okay knowing that your son is learning from example on how to treat women? That he will learn to treat you and any woman he encounters in the same manner if he ends up romantically involved with one in the future, because he is being taught that this is okay and normal? You need to do what is best for you and your son and follow through this time. I know it's scary and uncertain, but I can promise you that once you are out of this situation and settled, you will feel so much better off. When my friend ended her marriage with her narc husband, all she would say was how nice it was to not be yelled at every day. The kids told her they never wanted him to come back. They could finally come out of their room and not be called names or screamed at. She tells us all that she finally got peace in her life. But something to deal with hoovering. That has started up after a few months. Like you, she did everything. He just came home from work and was served food and watched TV. She even took out his work clothes for the next day. He never lifted a finger. He doesn't want to lose that supply. My advice to her was get mad. Get mad at what he does and how he treats you. When the hoovering and love bombing rears its fake head out, remind him and yourself of how it was. She keeps all the texts and reads them over. Reads how she is too stupid to pay bills. Too old for him now. Too skinny. Too lazy. And it reminds her that taking him back will bring her back to that life again. Narcissists are not capable of change without professional intervention. Actually, frankly, I don't believe they are capable of change at all. I'm just trying to be nice. I feel like he's faking it again, so we go back to normal again. He is. I hope it's not too late. It's not. Leave. So he only changes long enough for his life to go back to the way he likes it? Do you realize your son will behave exactly like his dad, or will end up getting treated like you? Instead of telling him again, make your exit plan, serve him papers, and live your best life. He haven't changed then and he won't change now. Free yourself of this demon. Nope. It's time to get your son out of that environment. If your husband had any real intent to change, he would have gone to therapy for anger management. He'll do this as long as you're together, and it's setting a horrible example for your child. Get out and get a lawyer. If you're worried about money, he'll still owe child support, and your son is way better off living in a smaller home than living with his dad. People don't really change. Not without a lot of conscious, dedicated effort and work. Divorces take time. There's steps in between. It's not like looking in a mirror, saying divorce 3 times, and your lawyer pops out with the paperwork ready to sign and execute. Get some space. Grab everything that's important to you. Important papers, photo albums, sentimental items, things you'll need for a new life you'd strongly prefer not to replace. Put it into a storage unit. Regardless of what happens with your current house, he leaves or you leave, you'll have access to those priority items that are out of his access to take. Change your passwords. Try being single on. See what it feels like. Get that gym membership you want. I'm glad to see you're in tune that leaving is also on behalf of your child. People who stay together for the kids are not helping the kids. What often happens is kids actually see what their parents' marriage looked like and think it's normal. Screaming, shouting, control, all of it. So leaving is the best lesson to show a child. This is not acceptable in a relationship. If someone is abusive to you, then you leave, and vice versa. I wouldn't have any further discussions or let your husband know in advance of your plans. He's just going to gaslight you more and shake your confidence. Use this time to organize, prepare, and build your confidence that you're doing the best thing for yourself, your child. Do let your family and friends know what's going on, all of it. Don't hesitate to share written statements outlining what you've experienced. Your life will only get better without him. You're only 29. You have your whole life ahead of you. It's never too late to escape abuse unless you're dead. Escape before that happens, please. All I want to say is he was aware of the age gap, because there's no way he didn't know. I don't believe him anymore. I feel like he's faking it again so we go back to normal again. You shouldn't, because that's exactly what he's doing. He's an abuser. And when they feel like they've gone too far and the frog is about to jump out of the boiling pot, they turn down the heat and love bomb you until you're willing to go back to the status quo. Then the abuse starts back. Only worse each time, because every time he convinces you to stay, he knows you're less likely to leave. You need to get out of there. And be careful while you're doing it. Don't be alone in the house with him while you're getting your stuff. Bring help. Leaving is by a huge margin the single most dangerous time for anyone in an abusive relationship. I know you're thinking, he hasn't hit me, but emotional and verbal abuse count too. And once someone is comfortable doing those, it's not a huge stretch from there to physical violence. Especially when they think their target is about to escape. Please stick to your guns and leave. And please be careful while you do it. He's sensing he's starting to lose control of you, and once the love bombing doesn't work, he's going to get unpredictable. If he truly is a narcissist, then he will never not be one. There is no treatment really. You have to decide if you can live with this or not. But him suddenly changing his whole psychological makeup and personality isn't going to happen.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.